Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Urban Farming Institute right here in the city of Oakland Park. And this morning, I have bad news. Iguanas. The lizard has discovered the hydroponic garden. Now, this is not good news. This has never happened. We have been here for 6 years growing all kinds of product, and we've never had a visit from Mr. Lizard. Well, guess what? Mr. Lizard discovered pak choi. And of course, Mr. Lizard had a very, very nice lunch. So what we're going to do today is show you how you can iguana-proof your garden. Now, we know this to be true, that if there's one iguana, there will be more. And just one iguana has discovered how to overcome the tower. The concern that we have now is that we discourage the iguana students. We want to foil their higher education in hydroponic growing. So take a look at what this little guy did to the pak choi. My heavenly days, look at that. And look, if you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but you can actually see the claw marks on the pot. Look at that. Now, this was a big iguana. We've set a trap for the iguana, and no luck. We even put fresh melon in that trap and had absolutely no luck. What a rush. So the guy got up in the tower not once, but guess what? More than once. And look at this. Notice the prop department out here. We spare no expense at the Urban Farming Institute on high-tech video support. Look at this. Just take a look at this. Can you imagine that? The guy was in the top of the tower munching away on pak choi. We had this scheduled for the CSA today. Well, guess what? We have pak choi. It's just not from us. It's from our friends down at the patch. But now let me show you a couple of things that will be really beneficial. For you guys who are growing hydroponically or are thinking of growing hydroponically, you're very much aware of the technique that we've used for a good number of years. And it is the ground pot, riser, swivel, and it allows the pots to be turned. Very, very simple. We have ground pot, riser, swivel, tower, works really, really well. And you can see the production out here is just crazy. Well, we want to discourage the iguana. And the way we do that is an idea that was developed by Jonathan Carter. Now, the good news is Jonathan is right here. Say hello to Jonathan right here. The famous hydroponic grower. Now, I have to tell you this. I'm just a little secret here. John is my second student.
I didn't know that either.
Student number 2. And he's been doing this with his entire family for 10 years. So he's got a lot of experience. This is really important. And you know, he came out this morning and said, well, John, I can solve this problem for you. And I said, no, you can't do that. He said, oh yeah, look at this new technique. Well, it was a wonderful idea. And I just really think it's perfect for the way that you can set up your hydroponic towers, regardless of where you may be, and especially if you have an issue with iguanas or other animals that try to climb the towers. So here it is, first time it's ever happened. Jonathan came into the garden this morning and solved the problem. So Jonathan,
yes,
demonstrate what it is that we're doing here. We're using a very high-powered tool here. Show that.
It's a circular clamp.
You got to talk right here.
It's a circular clamp, stainless steel if you can. It's very simplistic. Instead of using the PVC riser, you're going to use the clamp, put it over the conduit, slide it down where you want it. Usually it's an 8mm socket, but you can also use a flathead. You attach the clamp, then you put your PVC pivot
Swivel.
on the tower, the swivel, and then you drop your pots. You see, it serves the same function, but you can alter the height anywhere you want, higher, lower, especially if you're doing tomatoes where you only put 2 pots, you can have it super high. And that should solve the iguana problem.
So it gives you a tremendous amount of flexibility. And here we grow with 4 pots. Sometimes we grow with 5. In the Pompano farm, we were growing with 7, but we had no issue with iguanas. But here, of course, we do, and it's really a problem. And it's the first time, and this is what we're going to do. Leave it to me, and I'll figure a complicated way to make this work. Leave it to Jonathan, and he'll figure a very simple way to make this work. And really, it's super simple. Just think about it. There goes the ground pot, gone. There goes the riser PVC. And in this case, we have typically 2 feet of riser steel. And in place of that, we have a little piece of pipe clamp that you can pick up at any big box or hardware store. And swivel sits on top, and off you go. So you can raise this or lower this depending on how many pots you want to run. And the idea is that if when an iguana tries to get into or go up into, it has to have a grip. Now remember that iguanas are related to birds. And if birds, that's that limbic brain, and if they can't really figure it out, if it seems the least bit awkward or unclear, they're going to leave it alone. Well, this old boy figured out that he could stand on the ground pot and reach up in to the first pot on the bottom, and it was just soft enough so that he could get his claws right up into here. Notice demonstration here. And it just came right up, and he just went right into the tower. Well, guess what? We know for sure that the iguana loves beet greens. Well, and we know that the iguana loves chard. But guess what? The iguana loves pak choy even more, because we had beets and chard growing in the ground pot, and the guy walked right by him so that he could climb up into this tower and have some Asian lunch. Oh, come on. This is really something we have to bring to an end. I mean, if you go to the hydroponic store, or if you go to the grocery store and you have hydroponically grown, herbicide, fungicide, pesticide-free vegetables, you're going to pay $3-4 for a head of bok choy. Just think about that. This guy did some serious damage. So we're not interested in damaging the iguana. We're just kind of interested in encourage him to go elsewhere. So this is a technique. Thank you, Jonathan, for doing this. It really is very simple, and it's something you can do at home. We're going to slowly but surely change out the pots here, and to make sure that this doesn't happen again. So stay with us as we go through this, and you'll watch us transition the garden to this technique. Now, we don't want to get away from all of our ground pots. For example, purslane is a terrific pot, a terrific plant for the ground pot. Iguanas don't like them. Next week, for the Talk at 10, we're going to talk about how to iguana-proof your raised bed garden. Now, we have some very good techniques. We have 55 raised bed gardens here at the Urban Farming Institute in Oakland Park. And guess what? The iguanas like them too. They just like this pak choy better because it's hydroponically grown. I mean, hey, the guy's got good taste. You can't fault him for that. But we're going to discourage the crazy guy. So it's going to be a wonderful thing. So we're going to be saying goodbye now. Big thank you to John. And a big thank you to Cassie for running the camera. And of course, there's Jeff. And Jeff is our grip today, and he's holding the sun shield. It's quite, well, you just don't realize the technology we use here is just amazing. I mean, we spare no expense. Look at this. We're using a lid from, from a tote, and it's working perfectly well. So there you go. That's our story for today. Remember, the best day to plant a seed is today. The second best day to plant a seed was yesterday. So get busy. Plant a seed. See you next time.